What is up, YouTube? It is Doc here, Docky Style Gaming, and I am back at it again with another GodFall video for you all today. And I'm super happy to be doing this video because it's been a while since I've done a just basic news video for GodFall. As of late, I've just been doing a lot of breakdowns or covering other footage, but in this video I've compiled a bunch of news and information that we've got these past few days, and some spoiler-ish information, but I'll let you know when we're getting to that bit if you do want to leave and not be spoiled. We finally got some questions answered, and we got some names and details for some things that'll actually be happening in game. So without wasting any more of y'all's time, let's actually hop straight into this new info. Alright, before I get into the actual info of this video, right as I finished recording, we got some more information and news that dropped where we got the official launch times for GodFall on PS5 and PC. Now the cool thing is PC actually is going to be getting it a day earlier, and PS5 is going to be getting it at 12 midnight at your own local time zone. But for the PC players that are going to be getting to play it on November 11th, the time zones for it, at least in the US, for Los Angeles time, it's 1300 PST, and then for New York, it's 1600 EST. So you can kind of convert that to whatever you want for your own personal local time zone, but I will be streaming GodFall on PC launch. So I hope to see y'all there, and without further ado, let's actually hop back into the main video. So the first bit of info that we got came from Gamerant. They just posted an article today talking about GodFall before you buy, and essentially we finally got a question answered that people have been asking forever, especially in my comment section, but they officially answered the question about matchmaking. Now the article says, while GodFall does not have PvP style elements, the game can be played solo or in a small team. It supports drop-in, drop-out matchmaking, and the loot is instant, which means each player sees their own loot and won't have to fight over a drop with the other players. Now the instance loot I have covered in a separate video, but the drop-in, drop-out matchmaking is the important part because a lot of players have been asking, is matchmaking going to be in the game? And according to the Gamerant article, it will be in the game. So finally, we have that answered, we have that solved. I swear if I see it in my comment section again, no, I'm kidding. But we finally do have that question answered. So for those of you who might not have friends that were able to pick up a PS5 or players on PC who just don't got friends, hey, you at least got matchmaking now, so you'll be able to play with other players. Now moving on to the next bit of news that dropped today as well was the Man at Arms GodFall video, where we got to see them craft a real live version of the Eclipse. This is the weapon we've been seeing in almost all the gameplay since the very first trailer, the weapon that reminds me of the Infinity Blade. They actually made a real live version of it, and it was a pretty sick build, not gonna lie. So if you want to go check out that video, I'll leave a link to that in the video description along with the link to the Gamerant article as well. Now this next bit of information might be on the spoiler side of things, so just to be safe, if you think you might be spoiled, you might want to leave. The final bit of info, for sure, it's definitely going to be spoilery, but this part is, you might be safe. So thanks to soundtrack.net, we got the full track listing for GodFall's official soundtrack. Now why may this be a bit spoilery? Well, for some reason they decided to put the entire soundtrack in the exact order that all the events will play out in the game. Now how do I know that these are the exact order? It's none of your business, but we will be going over all of them because there's 40 different track lists. I'm not going to be like describing them in its entirety, but I do want to go over all 40 of the actual titles of the songs. The first of which being called Appearance Champion, which is essentially your main intro music. The second one is called The Fall, which is the Fall cinematic trailer. That is the opening of the game. Next we move over to the Land of the Valorians. Then it is the Temple of the Ancients, the Warden, the Guardian, Sanctuary, A New World, Crimson Glades, which is one of the areas of the Earth Realm. I've covered that when I broke down the Earth Realm map. Then it's the Vargal Tribes, Prismatic Falls, another place on the Earth Realm map, Alluvian Plains, again another place on the Earth Realm map, Bygone Ruins, Ravenous Hunter. Then we have Sorcerer's End, and I don't know if I've covered this before, but the mage-like character that we've seen a lot is actually Macros's lieutenant on the Earth Realm, and this is essentially your big boss fight for the Earth Realm. And of course, right after the Earth Realm, the next track listing is called Ascending the Tower, then Master of the Tower, and then Waters of Empyrean, meaning we are moving to the Water Realm. The next track list is called Cobalt Caldera, which again is one of the places on the Water Realm map, which I've covered as well. Then you have Call to Action, Leviathan's Rest, which is another place on the Water Realm Realm map, Abyssian's Gaze, which the Abyssians are the Water Realm enemies, a Wisdom of the Deep Ones, Warriors of the Darkness, the Ancient Depths, the Silver Moon, Song of Empyrean, and then a Realm of the Nyack. And as we've seen in just about all the gameplay of the Nyack, they do reside in the Air Realm. Next, it's King of the Hunt, Song of the Kindred, the Storm, the High Places, Lords of Dawn and Dusk, which is actually pretty important lore-wise, which check out my lore videos if you haven't. Then you have Etheric Hymn, Sunsteel, Triumph of Air, which again would of course be you completing the Air Realm. And then you have the False Archon, which is clearly Macros related. Next you have Apotheosis, and then ultimately you have the longest song called Change, which ultimately is going to be your in cinematic and credits outro. So those are the 40 different songs that are on the track listing for the game. Like I said, they are in order of how they will take place in the game. So again, if you didn't want to be spoiled, you're actually a little too late. I already covered all 40. But let's actually get into something that is a bit more spoiler territory, and it is that we got the official listing for GodFall's trophies. So I'm gonna try and go over the trophies kind of fast because most of them aren't that important, but the important ones I will break down. So the Platinum Trophy, of course, is called the High Lord of Empyrean, which is just earn all the trophies in Godfall. The next 6 trophies are actually the boss trophies in the game, and 4 of them being the Lieutenants of Macros. The first trophy is called Solaris, and it simply states defeat Solaris. And we've seen the Solaris boss fight a lot recently, especially in a lot of the Japanese gameplay as well. And it's essentially your tutorial-like boss fight. Next, we have one of the Lieutenants of the Earth Realm, Zamora, which is the sorcerer or mage type enemy. Now, the next trophy is Lunara, and Lunara is the Lieutenant of the Water Realm. We've seen her in a bunch of trailers, and we've seen some concept art of her as well. Next, we have the Grievous's Sunsteel, which is another Lieutenant for Macros. Next, we have the Gilded Knight, who is the Air Realm Lieutenant for Macros. And then we have the final boss trophy being Macros, and it's simply defeat Macros, and that is a gold trophy. Now moving on to some of these other ones, like I said, are pretty basic. We have Slayer, which is defeat 2,000 enemies, Salt of the Earth, which is defeat 200 Vargol, Shatter the Bastions, which is defeat 200 Crimson Wind, In the Deep Ones, which is defeat 200 Abyssians, Pierce the Heavens, which is defeat 200 Nyack, Punish the Traitors, which is defeat 200 Black Tide, Masters of the Elements, inflict the element 300 times, Disciple of Elaz, which is ignite enemies 100 times, Frostband, which is chill enemies 100 times, Stormbringer is electric, Child of the Earth, which is poison enemies 100 times, Razor's Edge, which is bleed, Cosmera's Embrace, which is curse enemies 100 times, and then you have Ultimate Warrior, which is activate Archon's Fury 40 times, Shield Captain, hit an enemy with a shield throw 200 times, Archon of War, perform 100 takedowns, definitely play on God of War, Versatile Warrior, which is perform a Polarity Shockwave 100 times, Dervish, activate Inner Focus 100 times, Dragoon, which is perform a Polearm Weapon Technique 100 times, Sword Saint, Longsword Weapon Technique 100 times, Berserker, Greatsword Weapon Technique 100 times, and Earth Shatterer is Warhammer Weapon Technique 100 times. Then you have Defender, which is parry 100 attacks, Deflector, which is parry 30 projectiles, which I have mentioned that before, and I still don't see a lot of people talking about that, but you can reflect projectiles in the game. Then you have Soul Reaper, which is soul shatter an enemy 500 times. You have S-Rank Duelist, which is hit 200 enemy weak points. Assassin, perform 40 death blows. You have Egalitarian, which is defeat 75 elite enemies. Hunter, which is defeat 40 mid bosses. Armor of the Gods, which is pick up 30 Valorplate cores from fallen soldiers. Scavengers, which is pick up 250 pieces of equipment. Awakening, pick up a legendary piece of equipment. Gold, silver, and, which is pick up 100,000 Electrum, which is finally the name of the currency that we've been seeing them pick up a lot as well. It's the diamond-shaped currency that falls along with some of the loot. Next we have Raiders, which is open 50 chests. Gatherers, which is collect from 50 mother loads. Geared Up, which is pick up 5 legendary pieces of equipment. Keymaker, which is earn 200 keys in the Towers of Trials. Then you have Rise Up, which is reach Trial 10 in the Ascended Tower of Trials. And then you have Ascendant, which is reach Trial 50 in the Ascended Towers of Trials. And that is all 46 trophies as of right now in GodFall. Now, most of it wasn't too bad in terms of spoilerish, but like I said, for some of the boss information, and for some people who are wanting to know how far you could get in the Ascended Towers of Trials, it'll be interesting to see how hard 50 actually gets, and if that trophy is going to be the one that's keeping a lot of people from getting platinum on PS5. I think I might actually make a stream of that where I get a group of players and we just try and grind up to level 50 of the Ascended Towers of Trials. I'm kind of curious to see how much more difficult it truly is, and I'm going to definitely have to get my build up. So with that, let me know what you guys actually personally think about there being matchmaking confirmed in GodFall, the PS5 trophies, and some of the soundtrack listing. And do you think the game's going to be long enough? Does it seem like it's long enough for you? The amount of bosses in the story mode? Does the soundtrack give you a decent idea of how long the story will be? And let me know who all is going to be trying to get to Ascended Tower Trial 50. So with that, I'm going to wrap up the video. Thanks for watching, like always again. Also, if you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. I upload GodFall content daily, and when the game getting ready to drop in just a couple days, I'll have so much more info, guides, breakdowns, builds, so much. So if you are interested in GodFall, interested in the content, definitely be sure to subscribe if you are new. And for the people who are already subscribed, be sure to like the video if you liked it, leave a dislike if you didn't. Be sure to chat it up in the comments section. Let's help this channel grow so that it doesn't get lost in the swarm of all the people jumping on the GodFall hype train when the game comes out. So thanks again. Links to my social media accounts are in the video description, along with the link to the Discord as well. I will catch you all on the next one. Thanks for the love. Thanks for the subs. Peace.